Prince George celebrates his 11th birthday while King Charles has a wardrobe malfunction and the Prince and Princess of Wales are hiring. Plus, Omid Scobie's book is getting the TV treatment while the Princess of Dubai declares her divorce on social media. And Gary Janetti, the person behind the infamous Prince George Instagram, reveals that he wasn't that interested in the royal family.
It was just a world that I created based on a personality that I started giving them. And then, but it was never something I was interested in at all.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, and welcome to Royally Us. I am Christina, and that's Christine, and welcome to another week of royal news. Not too much, but a lot of fun, interesting news this week.
Yeah, there's always royal stories going on. There's always going to be something royal to talk about, but I'm excited. We have some fun stuff. It's not, like you said, interesting, not your usual royal gossip.
Not our usual royal gossip, but let's kick things off with a big happy birthday to Prince George because he celebrated his 11th birthday and he is all grown up in this portrait taken by the Princess of Wales. The family shared the photo with the caption, wishing Prince George a very happy 11th birthday today. How is he 11 years old?
And this photo, this is a grown man. He's so grown up. These birthday photos, I mean, this is really an example of how historically important these are, because this is really the first portrait of him as a future king, not sort of as, Will and Kate's cute little boy. This is sort of a future king in his birthday portrait. And you just know that George had to sit Kate down and be like, Mom, I need to look cool, okay? Yes. Like, I no more of these sort of giggly, jumping photos. I need to look cool. And
I got it, yep.
He smashed it. I mean, it's a beautiful portrait, and he just looks like he's growing up so fast.
Growing up so fast. I mean, 2 years, we're going to have a teenager. That's insane. It's crazy. But yeah, he does. He looks so grown up, and you know that, like you said, he had to have photo approval on that one. All right, well, let's move on over to King Charles because he participated in a royal tradition called the swan upping, which is a tally that Charles takes every year of the swan populace on the river. So the custom, which dates back to the 12th century, was facilitated by David Barber, the current royal swan marker. Earlier this weekend with his team, Barber and his group set out on a journey of the famous river's 79-mile reach in order to count the white birds swimming around. I love this tradition. The video is amazing, and it looks like everybody was having a good time.
This is a very British, uniquely royal annual event. I absolutely love, sort of looking forward to it because it sounds really silly, but actually when you think that this has been taking place since the 12th century, this is an incredibly, historic sort of ancient tradition that they've done year after year after year. And that, that's really unique and beautiful to carry on that. Although it seems very silly to us, there's a huge historical context to this, which if you're very interested in is worth looking up and has to do with how the king owns all the swans because people kept eating them.
Wow.
But it is a fun sort of quirky event that is fun to catch up on year after year.
It definitely is. But yes, it's definitely a fun event. And it's always lovely to see these beautiful swans. Well, King Charles has been keeping busy and he was not having it with his royal robe during the state opening of Parliament. The king wore the imperial state crown and robe of state when delivering his speech to Parliament at the Palace of Westminster in London on July 17th, but his apparent wardrobe malfunction made the most headway. The UK Sky News shared a clip of Charles interacting with the page boy at the ceremony. As the king sat down, two young men assisted him in properly placing his outfit. When his robe wasn't cooperating, Charles appeared to fling his wrist multiple times in an attempt to take matters into his own hands. The page boy returned to the king's side and flipped out the robe properly. While it was quiet in the room, Charles appeared to whisper "thank you" to his young helper. Royals, just like us, they have wardrobe malfunctions as well, and luckily the page boy was there to assist.
It sort of reminds me of the coronation where they were putting the crown on, or Camilla sort of fixing her hair when they were putting her crown on. It's these things that, these seem like such regal, majestic, fairy tale, moments with the robes and the crowns, but actually they are just like us. The wardrobe malfunctions, it's, makes you feel uncomfortable when you're sitting. And they are those robes and that crown. They're so heavy. They're very warm. It's really warm in the UK right now. So I think that we didn't notice these things as much in the past. Historically, it was just sort of a picture perfect postcard moment, but now there's cameras everywhere. There's reporters everywhere noticing these things. We're seeing things down to the minutia of, King Charles, like fluffing his robes to make them sit properly. And it really marks a new world for the royal family and a new relationship that they have with the media and the public. And this is just another example of that.
It really is. And right before we started filming, we heard that Princess Anne is going to be heading to Paris for the the Paris Olympics, which are going to kick off this week. So that's very exciting as well. So I'm sure we'll see some royal sightings throughout the Olympics as well. But let's spill some royalty. And the palace posted a job description online showing that the Prince and Princess of Wales are looking for a new assistant private secretary from Wales and the United Kingdom. So the potential hire must be able to speak Welsh. This is according to the job post, which also adds that the assistant private secretary for Wales and UK will lead the planning and delivery for most of the Royal Highness's public engagements in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, and contribute to the development of the household strategy to maximize impact across the constituent nations of the UK, with a particular focus on Wales. The palace added conversational Welsh is essential, and fluent Welsh, both written and spoken, is desirable. So a lot of people are saying that maybe this new hiring could allude to the fact that the Princess of Wales may be slowly coming back into the royal fold and maybe attending some more engagements. Do you believe that as well?
I mean, I think it definitely shows, plans are moving forward, but to hire, to post the job, interview someone, make the hire, train them and get them settled, we could still be looking at months and months of waiting. They might be thinking about next summer, whereas we're hoping to see her again this summer. So I think it is a good sign. It definitely shows that the workload is not slowing down for the Prince and Princess of Wales. And it really shows how important that relationship with Wales is. This isn't just a title to them. I know we've spoken about it a little bit in the past, but that relationship with Wales, William, the Prince of Wales, is taking that role very seriously. There's a little bit of soft diplomacy to it, a little bit of politics, making sure that Wales is happy to, remain as part of the United Kingdom, which presently they're quite happy to do that. But I just think it's so interesting. I would love to see maybe Will and Kate will, get a house in Wales where they can spend some time once a year. This is definitely showing a step forward. Whether it sends Kate back, out into working, I wouldn't get too excited just yet. But definitely hints at what's to come.
Definitely hints at what's to come. All right. Well, royal reporter and Us Weekly alum Omid Scobie is getting ready for the television treatment, his forthcoming and debut novel, Royal Spin. So Us Weekly can confirm that he, along with Royal Spin co-author Robin Benway, is teaming up with showrunner Emily Fox, known for her work on The Watchful Eye and Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, who will also write the pilot script. And the statement says no show or book has ever gone inside the frenzied world of the Buckingham Palace press office. And we can't wait to throw Lauren, our young American protagonist, fresh from the White House communications team, into the deep end of it. So Royal Spin is set to follow a young American Politico named Lauren O'Connell, who makes her way from the White House to Buckingham Palace as the British monarchy is reeling from a wave of scandals. So this is the book's official logline. Lauren's job is to breathe new life into the Buckingham Palace communications team and help end the royal family's streak of bad press. But in an institution steeped in tradition and strict protocol, change isn't easy or welcome. Turns out the royal household can be just as messy and confusing as Capitol Hill. It sounds like it's going to be a fun watch, a fun read. Definitely Omid knows a thing or two about the royal family, so we're wondering if, we'll have to see if there's any Easter eggs of what really goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the inside scoop. It sounds like red, white, and royal blue mixed with the royal we, if you're knowledgeable in your royal fiction novels. To be clear, this is totally fiction, right? We know that this is a work of fiction, and I am kind of excited to see that it's going, from straight to a TV adaptation, because we all love our sort of royal-ish shows and movies.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, and it seems like Omid is really kind of leaning into the book space. I mean, he had Endgame, Finding Freedom, so now he's conquering the TV world. So good for him. Good to see him do this. But I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning in. All right. Well, we don't usually cover royalty outside of the British royal family, but this story was just too good not to talk about. As we know, there's nothing more powerful than a woman scorned, especially if she's royalty. So Dubai princess, if I mispronounce this name, Sheikha Mahara Mohammed Rashad Al Maktoum, went viral following her public declaration of divorce from her husband. She is the daughter of Dubai's current ruler, and she wrote in an Instagram statement on July 16th, writing, "As you are occupied with other companions, I hereby declare our divorce. I divorce you, I divorce you, and I divorce you. Take care, your ex-wife." So the pair raised eyebrows from Instagram users, with many wondering what went down in their relationship to cause such a public split. Commenters were quick to praise her savage split announcement, and it's been speculated that she wrote "I divorced you" 3 times to invoke an Islamic practice called triple talq, which results in an instant divorce. The controversial practice has been banned in many Middle Eastern countries, but her estranged or ex-husband has yet to publicly respond to the split. But like I said, too good of a story not to talk about.
Yeah, this was so juicy and so shocking, because there's otherwise on social media, they seem to be happy family. There's, or she seemed to live a happy life. She has a happy family and good support from her family, but it's very normal posts, family photos, outings, great outfit pics, things like that. And then there's this very bold statement, no context to it. We really haven't heard anything since then, but it is just a really, it was so dramatic, but there was such strong, female energy to that. I think a lot of women really admired that from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Way to take a stand and let everybody know that she is getting not just 1 time, 3 times I divorce you, just in case she wasn't clear the first time. Love to see it. Well, the latest city to win the chance to hold the Duke of Sussex's Invictus Games is Birmingham, England, in July of 2027. This was just announced that the selection of the city, which was chosen over Washington, D.C., brings the Invictus Games back to the UK for the first time since the inaugural competition was held in London back in 2014. The announcement was made by Dominic Reed, CEO of the Invictus Games Foundation, who actually recently announced that he will step down in 2025. So mark your calendars for 2027, and I'm sure everybody will be like, are Harry and William going to talk at that point? But we have 3 years to figure this out.
Yeah, because the big question is, well, will Meghan go, since she hasn't really returned to the UK? They've made this whole thing about how they won't come back to the UK unless they really have to. And now Harry will, have to be back in Birmingham. It creates a whole sideshow to this story. But I think it's a really good sign that the Invictus Games is here to stay. We're going to see these athletes, and we're going to see this good work for the next few years. And this is this is his love project. This is his passion project. And so I'm happy to see it carried on, and seeing it come home to the UK is special in its own way as well.
Definitely. All right, well, let's break down the royal rules. And we recently caught up with Gary Janetti, whose Instagram account gained popularity after he turned Prince George into a meme with his own voice. And as his following grew, Gary was offered a unique chance to bring the meme account to life with the HBO animated series The Prince, which lasted for 1 season in 2021. But it turns out he was actually never really interested in the royal family. Take a look.
I actually was never interested in the royal family in the slightest, so I know that seems strange. It was just, to me, all fictitious. Like, it was just a world that I created based on a personality that I started giving them, and then, but it was never something I was interested in at all. I know, isn't that weird? Which is why it was easy to do, because it was freeing. I had no associations with any of it. It was just only meant to be like silly, and that's it. At some point, when it became more popular and there might be somebody else I wanted to include, I was like, who are her kids? I've never been that big. Princess Diana, I loved Princess Diana. Yeah, otherwise, no.
Funny how things just work out. And now his latest book of essays, We Are Experiencing a Slight Delay, was released on July 9th. He definitely has lots of fun stories. And I was personally a big fan of this Instagram account. It would always give me a laugh.
Some of them were pretty funny. They're pretty on the nose.
They really. All right, well, let's wrap things up with our pint-sized palace. And James Middleton took his 9-month-old son, Inigo, on a shopping trip to celebrate his dog food company's latest achievement. He posted this adorable video, and he founded his dog food line named after himself and his late pup, Ella, in 2020. Now the products are stocked in over 300 Sainsbury stores nationwide. He wrote, "I set out on a mission to make all dogs' lives as happy and healthy as they have made mine, starting with the food they eat. I'm so grateful for this incredible journey me. And for those of you who have supported me, this is a big moment. Love to see it, and love to see the little baby as well.
It's so sweet. They're doing such an interesting job sort of balancing privacy for little Inigo, and also, you know, sharing him with the world in a funny way. We never see his face. It's always sort of the back of him or the side, or in really sort of subtle, respectful ways and so on. But I loved this video, and I think for so many parents, bringing your children to see your big accomplishments just makes it all the more special. And so that was really nice that James shared that with us.
It really was. That makes such a good point. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. Like we said off the top, lots of fun, interesting stories this week. Keeping it light.
This was great.
Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and Christine and I will see you next week.